Dr. Asmita Sawe. Welcome to the ROHFIT LifePod. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Doing great. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here, and it's lovely to be connecting with you after the long-drawn conversation that we had last time at your office. And I think we were discussing only that could have been turned into a podcast.
True.
And So just to give the whole audience a bit of a rundown, Dr. Asmita Sawe is actually a specialist in everything from homeopathy to I even believe Reiki as well.
Yeah.
And
diet and nutrition, acupressure.
Yeah, I'll just let you take over. In fact, give the audience kind of an introduction. And
So basically, it's started with homeopathy, and then diet and nutrition, acupressure, Reiki. I've just finished my master's in cosmetology, laser, trichology. So sports nutrition. So a lot of things together.
Quite a few things under your belt. So today's topics are very varied. Today's topics are more they're in the general field to kind of give the audience an insight on you as a professional who's kind of collaborating with us, but also on certain myths that we believe are very they're known generally but overlooked often when tried to apply and integrate into our daily lives. So to start off, very basic. Hydration. In this heat of Bombay that we are in, the degrees increasing day by day, we are losing a lot of electrolytes, we're losing a lot of nutrients. What role essentially, people obviously know in today's day and age, they have their apps giving them reminders of drink your water at this time and drink this much water. But is there something more deeper than that in how hydration plays a role in somebody's daily life?
Yeah, definitely. So hydration, our bodies are made with 72% of water, fluid. So water does make a essential part of our bodies, our life and everything. So everybody knows, like you said, everybody knows that we need to drink a lot of water while there is heat, while you're sweating, while you're working out and all of that. But generally, people who are at home, especially old age people who are not moving out too much, also need lot of hydration. So hydration not just helps you with keeping you hydrated and detox your body, but it also helps into your brain health. It also helps into making sure all your internal organs are functioning at their optimum. Because there have been recent studies published that old age people with beginning and minor dementia and all that, where a lot of hydration therapy was done, and they could reverse the effects of dementia. They could really help the body. Yeah, because dehydrated brain shrinks down, and obviously shrunk brain can't function. Shrunk down brain can't function well. So memory issues and not proper focus, you can't think clearly, all that also can be contributed to hydration. There is obviously toxins clearance, obviously your blood circulation, because blood has a lot of water, your chemicals, hormones, all that needs water to be there enough. And if you're drinking lesser water, and a lot of people tell me that nahi, pani pina shuru karo, and then bahut baar washroom jana padta hai.
Correct.
So that is bound to happen. But then that phenomena just goes on for, let's say, first few weeks, 3 weeks maybe, because your kidneys have lot of kachra accumulated, and there wasn't enough water available to flush that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are keeping all the garbage outside of your house, but if the garbage truck is not coming, then it's going to pile up. It's going to start stinking. It's going to start damaging the atmosphere, right? That's what happens with the kidneys, that there is a lot of kachra that's accumulated because you've been drinking less water. Mm-hmm. Now, when you suddenly start drinking more water is when your body is very intelligent. It's going to prioritize your kidneys and send all that water to your kidneys to get cleaned first. In 2-3 weeks, when that happens, and after that, then the water is really used for your organ hydration and everything else, and then the flushing out or the washroom runs go down. They go down once the kidneys are little emptied out.
Correct. So just to take it a little bit behind, how you mentioned that enough water reaching the organs is really important, right? A lot of us have been kind of playing off of just at the top of our mind, we are supposed to drink 3 liters of water or 4 liters of water. Essentially these bodily needs, kind of sending water to the kidneys and then prioritizing the organs. A lot of people don't know the scientific logic behind it, and that is what kind of prevents them to stop at like a certain amount of water range. And I obviously don't have the knowledge about it, but if you were to say like a ballpark of what is the ideal amount of water for anybody to have in a day, what would it be?
I would say 3 liters of water for a normal adult. 3 liters of water a day is good, because there are other waters, invisible waters, that are also going in our body, right? Because our fruits, our vegetables, our soups, our curries, our buttermilk, our juices, everything has its own water content. So that adds on. So 3 liters, I'm saying just water per se. And all this adds up to a liter or 2 more. So your bodily, overall water or a fluid intake, let's say, shouldn't really go above 5 liters is what I would advise, because there are a lot of water-soluble vitamins and minerals that otherwise start getting flushed out. So though you're eating nutritious food, you're eating enough nutrients, and still your body can go into starvation. Just because you're drinking too much water and all those water-soluble vitamins and minerals are getting flushed out of your body.
Correct.
Which we don't want. Because
Correct.
then we'll have the other side diseases where there are deficiencies, and you will not understand, I'm eating everything, I'm balancing my food, and why do I still have deficiency diseases? It could
Correct.
be because you're taking it and then flushing it out without actually using it or letting your body store and use.
Correct. I think I saw this piece of content. I read a blog somewhere that how to show yourself, or what are the symptoms of you being overhydrated. A lot of times, like us going to the washroom, and usually our urine kind of explains if we're flushing out vitamins or we aren't. And so apart from that, like how, like in today's day and age especially, a lot of people are neglecting the fact, because I've heard a lot of people, I forgot to drink water. Or I forgot to have, and hence the whole aspect of them having app reminders and everything. So if we are to say, we've heard like wake up in the morning and have a glass of water, start your day with a glass of water and keep a bottle next to you. Today's, is it essential for us to add anything extra to the water? Like a lot of people usually to push themselves to have more water, flavor their water, add electrolytes. They have different flavorings to add to it. Like, is there any benefit to things like adding electrolytes? Or
there is definitely, when you're working out or when you're doing work which involves you being out in the sun and you're sweating a lot. That is when, yes, your electrolyte will definitely help, because you tend to sweat out a lot of electrolytes and salts through your sweat. So that is when having a glass of water with electrolytes in it, a normal electrol powder is good enough. Okay, you can have that. Or while you're working out, gymming, and a lot of, let's say, you're sweating a lot, you're picking up a lot of weights, and your muscles are, really working a lot. That is when you can actually have water with electrolyte in that, because that replenishes all those salts. Correct. Which you're losing out. But otherwise, throughout the day, you don't really need to add any flavors or electrolytes or anything. I would rather suggest you can, if you really don't like the water taste or no taste, let's say, then you can add few fruits or few mint leaves or tulsi leaves or something like that, which gives a aroma and the taste to the water. But otherwise, not really, because you're drinking water to cleanse your body, and you're adding chemical flavors into that. How does that make sense? You're increasing the flushing work for your body, because all those flavors and chemicals your liver and kidney has to flush out. You're drinking water for the purpose of cleansing them, because they already have a lot of accumulation, and then you are drinking water with the accumulation in that. It doesn't really make sense, right?
There's no point. You're practically going in reverse.
Yeah, you're increasing the stress or the work for your body.
Correct.
So rather than that, go with the natural plain water, or if you don't really like it, you can add lemon or, like I said, mint leaf or tulsi leaf or something like that, cucumber or something. Just flavor it with natural ingredients. Correct. Do not flavor it with chemical ingredients is what I would rather recommend.
Correct. So, just on this topic, the last point that I wanted to cover, there are a lot of people, particularly mistake their hunger when actually they are dehydrated. I don't know, I've read this somewhere, but is
they
it
mistaken
true?
their thirst
Yeah,
to
they
being
mistaken
hungry.
their thirst to be hunger. And is there any truth to that? Like, is there any, say, reaction in the body where it does not realize that it either needs to be hydrated or it needs food?
Yeah, it does. It is true. So it does happen many a times when you're dehydrated for a longer periods of time, or let's say more frequently for longer period of time. I mean, you've made that a habit of drinking lesser water, and that's when your body it feels there is something wrong. I need something, and I'm feeling really low. I'm feeling really sad, and something's missing, and I can't function to my optimum. But it doesn't, because 10 times or 100 times it has told you that it needs water and you've not really honored that request. It just goes confused and bazak, and it doesn't really understand that what is happening. But it keeps telling you that something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. And a lot of people tend to eat instead of drinking water while it is feeling like something's wrong. So food obviously gives you a happy high. It gives you that happy hormones. So that is why eating becomes the first choice many a times for a lot of people. And that doesn't help. But then the common signs is you will feel like you don't want to eat anything bahut chabane wala or dry. You rather are craving something liquidy or soupy, or or you might feel I'm full or I've eaten and still I am wanting more, but I want something, maybe a juice or maybe a soup or maybe a more wet
Something more
food,
substantial.
wet things rather than dry things. I mean, chapati khane ka man nahi kar raha hai, ya dry kuch khane ka man nahi kar raha hai, but rather kuch to dahi chawal ya soup पीने का मन कर रहा है, या ऐसा मतलब.
Correct.
So that is when it many a times is that it's not the hunger or a calorie requirement. It's more of a water requirement that body is trying to fulfill through your food. So it's giving you those cravings. Our body is very smart. It knows how to, what it needs and when it needs, and yeah.
So I feel like there were these aspects which needed to be covered about hydration. I mean, when you think of it, it's such a simple topic and it's so it's well known to the entire world. But I feel like these were important to cover because they are so overlooked in our daily life. So moving on, the next aspect that we want to discuss is, I think, the one thing that we spoke at least for an hour when I came to your office, and that is food science. And particularly starting off with processed foods. So a lot of the times, even me, the reason for me, obviously having a lot of processed foods, I mean, it's not the best feeling that it leaves you with, but it's convenience and on the go. And a lot of times, as we mentioned,
taste.
Yeah, it's the taste. A lot of times, I feel like, okay, this is satiating me and this is enough and I can go by my day. But you brought to my attention the other day the fact that there is a way for these companies to actually market it in a certain way. And this is where I want to kind of shift the aspect on how food is presented to you through commercial ways. We earlier on also had a discussion about this other YouTuber called Food Farmer, and how he's doing rounds about actually bringing out the truth of certain companies into the light and explaining that this is the importance of nutrition labels. So starting off with the first question, this beautiful concept of the bliss point that you explained the other day. So what is the bliss point?
Yeah. So let's go rewind and go a little before why the bliss point and what actually. So our brain actually has, I mean, it's it knows it while the blood is passing through the brain. It's testing and it's knowing, it's understanding which system is down, which system needs rest, which system needs what, and which nutrients are lacking, and which nutrient needs to be taken in, or which are more, or whatever, all that. Our brain is continuously studying that. So our cravings are based upon these readings. So every time I'm sure you've seen a small kid who's fallen sick, have a stomach upset. And being Indian mothers, everybody wants ke sara pyar pet mein se hota hai, to khilao. And when mother tries to force feed or, nahi, pura khatam karo and all that, the kid refuses. It'll throw it out, but not gulp it down, right? And as soon as the system gets okay is when the kid will eat double and recover and replenish that energy that it has missed in last 2 days. Or a small kid who has a calcium deficiency will try and chew on to the chalk or the color of the wall, or those slate pencils and all of that. Now the parents of that kid also doesn't know that the kid has calcium deficiency. So there is no chance that anybody went and told the kid that, boy, you have a calcium deficiency and these things have calcium. No, though non-digestible, but it has calcium. Nobody told the kid that, right? But the brain knows it. Okay, so brain will create the cravings according to that. So everybody's brain has that voice in them. As we grow old, I think we stop listening to that voice, or we just start shoving it off. The brain is saying ke vada pav mat khao, and it tastes good to your tongue, and all your friends are eating it, and it's marketed like it's a fab, and the food that's of the generation, and it's like yo to do that, and you want to have a burger, or you want to have a junk food and all of that. So many times it's the marketing, it's the peer pressure, it's the preference to I would say tongue rather than the nutrients, is what initiates or puts us on that path of having a lot of junk food. So a lot of young kids come to my clinic for nutrition, and I always, many times when I ask them what is their favorite food, and they say junk. And a simple exercise that I do with them is I just tell them to search the meaning of word junk on Google. And obviously the definition says something that's discarded or waste or doesn't hold value. And the next question is, do you really want to put food that has no value or which is discarded or doesn't have anything good to give you? And they are like aghast. They are like, oh, no, I definitely don't want to do that. I said, exactly. So see, something that doesn't have any nutrition, doesn't have any value, has to at least look good, right? Otherwise, definitely nobody's going to take it. There's not going to be any market. So all these junk foods are packaged well. The taste is created so well that you feel like having it more. So coming to your question, bliss point is what plays a big role in this at this point, that there are like big food companies have like big teams their work is just to research on bliss point. So bliss point is the exact combination of sugar and salt for that particular food, which will make that food addictive. So that is called bliss point. Right. So there is a continuous research going on of finding an exact bliss point for a certain packaged food. Once they find that, obviously the food becomes addictive and the sales go up. So sugar triggers the same center in our brain that cocaine does. So you can imagine how addictive sugar and salt combination can be. Okay. So that's exactly why so much money and so much research goes into finding that bliss point. And once they've achieved that, obviously a common man who buys that or kids who buy that are going to want it more, rather get addicted to that. And that's how the marketing and sales happen. But then it is a lot of times empty calories, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't really have nutrients, but it has a lot of high calories because it has those palm oils, and it has those ingredients which are not costly, ingredients which are cheap, ingredients which are easily available, ingredients that make you feel full. like a lot of sugar, salt, a lot of maida, a lot of simple carbs which give you that sugar, blood sugar high.
Spikes up your insulin.
Yeah. High glycemic index. And those things make you feel like, oh, mera pet bhar gaya. Right? But has that given you any nutrient? No. The answer is no.
But like, how we have reached a stage of consumerism where all these foods are super and hyper palatable, and for anybody, especially starting at a younger age, we as children had always asked for that extra piece of candy and always asked for that glass of Tang, and
it's
it
not
went
your
on
mistake.
and on.
I just told you, right?
It is not ours.
It's the companies that are tricking you in that.
Right. And
so it's not your mistake that you want that one extra candy or one extra piece of cake or one extra burger or whatever.
Right. So like, is there a way for us to instill that kind of mindset? Is because I have seen a lot of my friends who go to the gym and friends who are very health conscious, but their simple aspect of, okay, I have to stay in a calorie deficit, but 90% of them staying in a calorie deficit are these nutritionally labeled synthetic or processed foods. It's not as natural as can be, like, because everything has shifted so much more towards visually reaching that physique goal of visually losing weight and seeing that you've put down those pounds. You ignore your important fats, your omega-3s. You ignore proper fiber that is coming from your salads. You ignore all of that, but you keep saying, okay, I'm reaching my calorie goal and I'm having this peanut butter sandwich, which is a synthetic peanut butter, mixed with a lot of sugars and salts, but I'm saying that I'm reaching my protein goal. And that is something I feel, again, would leave you groggy, would leave you very sluggish. And that is that weird disparity that we have, that under the pretense of health, we are trying to reach our calorie goals through 90% of processed foods because of the convenience.
Exactly.
And less more of taking in our daily vitamins through your natural tomatoes, foods, potatoes, your normal vegetables, your fruits. And I think I would give props to my parents, because they try to instill as much of that into my daily life. Your coconut water, your fruit salads, your and having that kind of sort of, I don't know, wokeness. It's the true meaning, because today, in a day of capitalism and consumerism, that's lost somewhere. And we often find ourselves at a point where we need to look at a person who's actually guiding us, right? Like you, or like the YouTuber that we discussed, Food Farmer, who's actually bringing it out in the light that we have spent most of our childhoods having a certain milk drink that I don't want to name. And, having all of these, which are essentially 90% of the ingredients that are harming your body. So, lastly, coming down to the fact that if you had to give any person like a way to kind of know and have that instinct or build that intuition about the fact that, okay, this is not a good choice at the moment. Say if I need a pre-workout meal or I need some meal to start my day, is there anything to instill that into you, saying that, okay, I'd rather choose this, maybe higher in calories, but it would help me be fitter. It is giving me the right nutrients that I need rather than something that's quick.
Exactly. So I would rather say that calorie deficit doesn't always mean nutritionally content.
Right.
This is the basic that we need to remember. Calorie deficit doesn't mean nutritionally content. That what it means is you are controlling the calories. You are eating lesser calories, which is good. But is it giving the essential nutrients that your body needs for functioning? That is a question that we need to ask. And if the answer is yes, then you are on the right path. If not, then you need to change something. And this is the topic very close to my heart. So I always tell all my clients that we are blessed to be born in India. We have all required nutrients available in our food. We have different foods, different vegetables, different fruits, grains for every season, right? I mean, if we just follow that, and we will get all required nutrients. So in India, we don't really need these supplements, don't really need these synthetic packaged foods to make sure that our nutrients are available for us. We just have to know which foods and which combinations and which quantities that we need to have. And if you know these three things, I mean, what to eat, in what combination, and in how much quantity, just being on natural food, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Trust me on that. So we have just recently have published feedback from one of our client on our clinic page, Rejoice Wellness. And so in 3 or 4 months, from looking, really thin and lanky, he's gone to really having good muscles.
Right.
And everything through natural food and exercise. No supplements, no, those powders and pills and nothing at all. So it's all about knowing. So understanding your body, So like I said in a previous point, that let your brain voice reach you. If that is achieved, then you don't really have to put in so much intelligence and head into what should I eat, what not, and this and that, and calculations, and don't have to stress yourself so much, because your brain will tell you when to eat what and when not. Right now, because we are so away from our brain voice and it's not reaching us, that is why all these marketing gimmicks and all these consumerism,
they reach us before
they are able to fool us into thinking that we need to have those powders, we need to have those packaged supplements, and all of that. Our food is not going to be enough. It's all about brainwashing. So if we just know so that is why I always say that, if you've seen in those cereal boxes,
right,
have those pictures of those small kids and or cartoons.
Yeah.
And their eyes are always looking down, because the kids who are going to want that, they'll feel a direct eye contact and they feel like buying it.
Right. Wow.
So so I always say, eat as much as, or buy as much as anything that is not coming packaged, that is natural, that is like your fruits and vegetables. You can have that enough. Anything that's coming packaged, that's coming with the label or has an expiry date,
has a lot of synthetic chemicals added to it.
Yes. So like you mentioned, Food Farm, I really love his content. I mean, he's really doing a great job. The campaign he's right now running is read the label.
Right.
Which is true, which is required, because we would just, I have patients who would go to a mall and click a picture and send me a picture of the name of any, biscuit or food product or whatever, and say, kya hum ye kha sakte hain? Read the label. I don't know what is in that, right? Reading the front of the packet, I don't know if it is. It says a healthy chivda or whatever. It doesn't mean it has to be healthy. Healthy chivda is the brand name that they're using. The meaning is not part of it, right? I'm Asmita. You are Rohan. It's just the name. So healthy chivda is the name of that product. It speaks nothing about it being healthy. It's just the way marketers confuse and fool you.